Monday is here. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday. And today I want to talk to you about motivation. We see it everywhere. We hear about it everywhere. We see these quotes we see people talking about on videos. It's just this thing that I think now more than ever, motivation seems to be a thing that we should all have or should at least be aware of. But is watching videos, reading quotes enough to truly stay motivated? Now, if you're anything like me, you've struggled with motivation at some stage in your life. In some areas, you might still struggle to this day. And the reality is, most people struggle for motivation. And there is nobody that I know who is really successful that has not struggled with motivation at some level along their journey. It's completely normal. So firstly, I want to say that if you've ever struggled with it, or if you're struggling with motivation right now, you're not strange or some exception to the rule. You're just going through what we call a phase, right? A phase of low lack of drive, whatever that might be for you. And so what I want to do today is give you something that has helped me overcome the slumps in motivation that I've had in both my business and my life. And to this day, I've not missed more than 2 weeks of training in the past 16 years. So for the past 16 years, I've been going to the gym consistently, and I've not missed longer than 2 weeks, or at least working out, right? Given lockdown and everything else. But I've not missed any more than 2 weeks. And the only reason I missed those 2 weeks was because I was on a holiday and I gave myself permission to rest. So in 16 years, I've managed to stay consistent with my training. Now, to some people, this sounds crazy. It's like, how can you possibly not have fallen off track at some stage during the past 16 years? It's like half my life. And it got me thinking around what actually got me to stay motivated. What was the thing that kept me going back and going back and going back, even if sometimes I wasn't really feeling up for it, right? You have those days where you just don't feel like working out and you just can't be bothered. But the thing that kept me going back and never skipping more than a couple of days at most for, the reason of having rest is vision. I had a vision of what I wanted to look like. I had a vision of how I saw myself and wanted to see myself. And so that was a thing that always kept me going back to the gym. Now, I wasn't guaranteed that I was going to see this dramatic change. There was no guarantee that if I work out really hard that you were going to get to this place that you want to be. But just having the vision of what you wanted to have, what I wanted to have, was the thing that kept me going back. And I couldn't transfer this discipline, this mindset, this vision that I had with my fitness into business. I just couldn't see the two. I don't know why, but it took me about a decade from the age of 15 to 25 to finally be able to take what I had created, this mindset around training, and then apply it to business. Because in the years before that, I would really lack the motivation, the focus to succeed, and I would give up really easily. I don't know why I was just somebody who would try something, and when things got hard, I would just give up. I was mentally lazy. And in my first time trying to launch the whole online business thing, I wrote an ebook, right? Like many people did. This was about 7-8 years ago. And I obsessed with it. I spent about 6 months writing it, getting pictures for it, designing it, making it look like the best thing ever. And I loved that part of the journey because it was creative. It was what I could do. I was writing about things that I knew. And then when it came to launching it and it failing, I just gave up so easily. I just thought by posting up a few times on my social media, it would just kind of take off, but it didn't. And so instead of trying to figure out how to make this work, I gave up and I moved on to something else to try and find another easier way of succeeding, until I realized that you can't give up and then expect something else to work. You have to see things through. But then when I started to really try and identify, like, why did I not see this through, but I work out really consistently and I do all these other things really consistently? And it was because I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a vision of why I was doing what I was doing. I created the ebook, I created other things, but there was no purpose to what I was doing it for. Yeah, of course, I wanted to make money, but I wasn't really aligned with why. Like, why did I want to make more money? What was that going to give me in my life that I didn't already have? And because I wasn't aligned with my vision, I would give up easily and I'd lose motivation to keep going. And so maybe in your life right now, you are facing things where you want to take action, you have that drive at the beginning, but then you fall off track. And that's exactly what happened to me. And so what I started doing was to try to recreate this way of thinking around having a vision and having goals. And so I started writing down my goals for my business from around 2015. I started writing things down, what I wanted to achieve. And so with writing things down, I started to actualize the things that I wanted and why I wanted them. And then I didn't just go and write them down. I took it one step further. I started reading my goals every single day of the week, usually Monday through to Friday or Saturday. And I just read my goals of what I'm doing it for, right? Like the why behind the what. Because the reality is you're going to face challenges and obstacles along the way, and things are going to get hard. But if you're not aligned with why you're doing what you're doing, then it's going to be really easy to give up. And so when I started writing down the goals that I had and then reading them every single day, I stopped needing to look outwards for motivation. I stopped needing the external motivation from videos, quotes, books, because I found it intrinsically. I was intrinsically motivated to work on my goals because of one thing. I was aligned with the why. So when you align with your why, the what becomes easy because now you have a higher purpose. You have a bigger reason to do what you're doing. And so if you've ever fallen off track and you're feeling like, oh, how do I get motivated? Yeah, I mean, you can watch a video and it's going to pump you up. You can read a book that's got, some self-development. But the one thing that's going to outdo everything externally is internally why you're doing what you're doing. And so now when I'm faced with days of low motivation, I'm just anchored towards my why, my vision for my life, my life's future. Just like I was with my training, I was aligned with the future vision of my body, how I wanted to look. And so now my subconscious mind goes to work on creating the actions so that I can actualize the vision that I have. And so even if I'm feeling low motivation, even if I'm not really feeling up for it, because I've conditioned my mind so much through the repetition of reading my goals, writing them down, reading them and writing them down, it becomes habitual, it becomes easy, it becomes almost effortless. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have days where I'm not motivated to train, where I'm not motivated to work, when I just want to eat and relax and do nothing. But the consistency of showing up, reading my goals, and being aware of why I'm doing what I'm doing has kept me focused and it's kept me pushing forward. And 7 years later now, since I've been doing this process of writing down my goals, reading them, it becomes almost easy now just to take action consistently and never fall off track. And during this past year that we've been on lockdown, non-lockdown, this is the one thing that's kept me going. I've been getting up early still. I've been training myself. I've been sticking to my habits because I've still got the vision of my future. I've stopped focusing on the things we can't control, like the present where we are right now, if we're on lockdown, if we're not. And I focus myself on how I want myself to be in the future. So if you're struggling for motivation, if you're feeling like you fall off track when things get hard, it's probably because you're not truly aligned with what you're doing it for. You're just not aligned with the why, the reasons behind what you're doing. And so if you just do this one thing, if you just start writing down your goals, and most importantly, why you want to achieve these goals, and then start reading them daily, your subconscious mind, your the part of you that wants these things to happen will start taking action on them. And so if you just take anything from this daily life, is just write down goals, read them daily, and inevitably things will start happening. Now, it's not going to happen straight away for you. You might read your goals and be like, well, this was pointless. Why am I writing down my goals? Why am I reading my goals? But if you just trust in the process, just like when you go to a gym and you start lifting weights, you don't go in day one, get on the bench press, and then your chest is like 4 inches thicker, right? You go in there consistently every week, you show up and you add weight to the bar, or you consistently lift that weight. And over time, you build muscle. right? Over the time, you're going to build the mindset muscle that's going to allow you to stay disciplined and focused on your goals. So at first, you're not going to see much of a change, but over time, you will. So if you stick with this process, I can pretty much guarantee you that motivation will never be a thing that you're going to struggle with again. And it's a hard thing to do, but if hard things were easy, then everybody will be doing it. Everybody would achieve their goals. And so most people don't, because they don't do this one thing. So start writing down your goals, reading them every day, aligning with them, and things like motivation and the actions will naturally follow. So that's all I got for you today. I hope it's helpful. Comment below. What do you do to stay motivated? Is there a routine or ritual that you do to stay motivated? I would love to know. So comment down below and like this video and then share it out. If there's somebody you know in your world who struggle for motivation, this message might help them. This tip today might be helpful for them. So either tag them or share this out. And again, leave a comment below. I would love to hear what you do to stay motivated. Otherwise, tune in tomorrow, same time, for the Daily Life. Have a good day.